action.
Okay, good morning. Give a little bit base. Mishnah. Hareni nazir min hachatzanim umin hazagim umin hatiglachas umin hatuma. So the Gemara is going to say that it means he said any one of these. He said I'm a nazir, but he didn't say. If he says a nazir, that includes everything. He said I'm a nazir, but he seemed to specify certain aspects. One is min hachatzanim umin hazagim, which means from the shells.
Two different things.
But that's one probably. That's one.
That
That would mean the grape issue, grapes and everything, that wine. But he didn't say everything. He just said the pits. The zag are going to be the peels, and the chasanim are the pits. And I think there'll be a focus later on, but for our purposes, that's the wine issue. And I think lachas means from the issue about taking a haircut. I mean, not to become Tamil Mason. We said in the pasuk that there are three issues that are Nazir Zasar: the wine, the haircut, and Tumas Mace. And he specified one of them. He didn't say all three. He didn't say a Nazir Stam, or he didn't say all three of them. He said any one of these. And it's interesting that in the case of the wine, he didn't say wine. He said the pits and the shells. And what is the word you say? It's pills. How do you call the outside of the grape?
The skins.
The skin. Okay, the skin, or the pits or the skins. So that's also interesting. That's probably also going to be part of the Gemara. That he didn't say even the whole issue of wine. He just said a specific aspect. And any one of these cases, he only said one. I'm a Nazir from taking a haircut. I'm a Nazir from becoming Tamil Mace. I'm a Nazir to wine. Even that, he just said I'm a Nazir from eating pits and skins. So I raise a Nazir b'chol dikduk Nazirus Allah. So there's no difference. Even if he specified only one thing, it's the acceptance of all the Nazirus, and he's a regular Nazir with all the pitchafkis, with all the dikdukim, all of the intricacies.
And do you think it's because he said the word Nazir? Because it might be different if he didn't say.
Yeah, you're right. That might be a definition. If he does that, I'm not going to take a haircut. Does that necessarily? That'll be the sugi before, as he called the kinoi. Like we had other cases that he said something which we're not sure what he means. I'll take care of my hair. I'll make beautiful and salsa. What?
Behold, I won't become Tamil.
Right. So does that mean? Does he mean to say? So that's not our sugi. Our sugi is that he's saying I'm a nazir, but he specified a certain aspect. So you might think that if he only specified a certain aspect, he's not accepting everything else. And the two choices the Gemara is going to have is everything or nothing. Our Mishnah says everything. He's a regular nazir. You might have thought that he's a nazir only for some aspects that the sugi doesn't talk about. We had that something in the end of the Dorim, if it's possible to be a nazir for certain aspects, which we'll have today also, something like that. But this Mishnah, it's going to be all or nothing. Our Mishnah says all, that he's a complete nazir. First, the Gemara says, Masitz like Rab Shimon. First of all, our Mishnah is against Rab Shimon. Machlokes Tanam, the Tanya Rab Shimon Omer, Ein Chai Bat She'ad Mikulam. That he's not a nazir. He's only nazir if he says everything. He has to say everything. Either he specifies each all the details, wine and hair cutting and tumas mace, or he just says Areni nazir. Is also that includes everything. But if he specifies one, he's not a nazir. Nothing. There's everything or nothing. Mishnah says everything. Rabbi Shimon says nothing. Now the Gemara goes into the.
That's Rabbi Shimon B'Yochai.
Right. It's not Rabbi Shimon. It's Rabbi Shimon B'Yochai. And as our Mishnah says, Rabbanan argue, and they said that even if he only became a nazir from one of them, he's a nazir for everything. So you have machlokes of Shimon and Rabbanan. Now the Gemara goes into the drushes. Most of the sugi today here is going to be about the drushes. Where do they get it from? My time with Rabbi Shimon. How does he get that you have to say everything in order to become a nazir? That's the pasuk. Trying to highlight it. I didn't have time to highlight it today.
The whole thing. No,
that's all the pasuk.
That whole thing. Adzug.
That's the pasuk. So the Mefarshim explained that once it says that he's usher, that everything comes out of the vine, why does it have to specify mechasanim ba'adzag? Why does it have to specify the last words? The last words is going to be more of the issue. From the skins till the pits. So from there he learns out that he has to be for everything. Everything. From the pits to the skins.
The zag or the pits?
The zag are the skins. There's a machlokes later on. Everyone holds that both of them are here. The question is which one is which. There'll be a machlokes later on.
Oh.
So whichever you want to say it is good. Somebody holds like that. I think we paskin that the zag is the skin and the chasanim is the pits. But for our purposes now, it doesn't make a difference.
Okay.
So the fact that it says again after it said anything that comes out of the vine, so why does it have to specify mechasanim v'azag? It's coming to say everything. Mechasanim v'azag means from the skins till the pits. You have to include everything. This pasuk tells of Shimon that it's only a nazir if he says everything. Now, it doesn't talk here about Tuma and Tiglachas, it doesn't talk about that. But it says in the wine, if he's just going to say the pits alone, it wouldn't be good enough. He has to say the pits till the skins, he has to say, he has to include everything. From that, we learn out that also the other issues of Tiglachas and Tuma, he has to include everything. It's not going to be a Nazir only if he says everything, but he can't say part and make him Nazir on the whole thing.
Oh, you mean because the pasuk could have had just one of them? Or
We'll see the next point in the Rabbanan right away. We'll see the Rabbanan's pasuk. We'll see what the Rabbanan will say. Rabbanan in my time. Where did the Rabbanan get that even if he became a Nazir from
one, it means
one,
everything.
he automatically goes on everything. Amakra, we'll do this pasuk also. Miyayin v'sheichor yazir, and they take it to mean that even if he's a Nazir from one of the things, also that makes him a Nazir, either Yayin alone or Sheikhar alone, even either Yayin, even if he didn't become a Nazir to everything, that's also enough to make him a complete Nazir.
I thought Sheikhar is mir.
I didn't think so. I didn't think that was the drasham. I think that that's the fact that it says Yayin or it says Sheikhar, and here doesn't mean beer. It's going to only mean, like I was going to say soon, it only means from grapes. Whatever it's going to mean from grapes only. There's no issue on a Nazir to drink schnapps or all kinds of. It has. What
Because,
do you mean?
well, I thought Yayin is alcoholic. So why would you need the word Sheikhar?
So we'll have a different story why you'd have to have both of them, what each one means. But Sheikhar is only going to be in this by Nazir. It's only going to be something which came from the grapes. If it have any kind of alcohol, but it doesn't come from grapes, it's not Asr. But that's not our point right now.
Mhm.
But the point is that it says something specific. It doesn't Machasan about Zagreb Shimon to mean like it's all inclusive kind of thing. It has to say everything. From the pits till the skins, that's a kind of inclusive lashon. And Yayin and Sheikhar is a specific thing. Yayin, I didn't see all the Mepharshim over here, but I saw the rush, I think, and it didn't say that it means because of the mem, Yayin.
Are we saying because these terms are general, or just that they're not mentioning everything?
It's not mentioning everything. The Rush over here says, "B'chivin nechsim mikol ha'shasim v'gefen ha'yayin some yayin v'sheichel amali amalachad afilu nazir v'yayin v'chudei hebben nazir the yayin v'sheichel chadik yayin v'sheichel is the same thing." And even if he does say the yayin, it doesn't make a big difference out of yayin and sheichel. We'll see soon in the Gemara. There might be two reasons why you have to have both of them. But the fact that it says that even yayin alone is enough to make him a nazir for everything. He's not specifying so much the point about the pits against them, but the first Russia was to say that even the pits, the Mishnah is going to say that even the pits alone are enough, not only yain alone, even if we say the pits, it's also going to make him a nazir on everything, on wine and everything, plus also tumah and tiglachas. This is the end of the Rush Abbas was pointing out.
Okay.
So those are the two Rushes. Each one has the pasuk, and now the Gemara is going to, like always, ask what does each one do with the other one's pasuk. Rab Shimon, each one has a problem, and the other one's pasuk. Rab Shimon's pasuk was Mechasan Vazag meant everything, and Rabbanan's pasuk of Yayin said even Yayin alone. What does Rab Shimon do with Rabbanan's pasuk? Rab Shimon Nam Yaksiv Yayin v'Sheichor Yazir. No, that you need something else. Ahumi boy lesar Yayin mitzvah ki Yayin arishus. That's you need that extra pasuk of Riboy to tell you that even wine of a mitzvah is also for a nazir to drink. Even wine of a mitzvah, a nazir is not allowed to drink. You need extra pasuk. Even that kind of wine is not allowed to drink. But as far as our issue, Mechasan Bazak tells you he has to make himself a nazir on everything. But here it says that he's also not a pasuk to tell you that he's even also wine of a mitzvah. The Gemara wants to know what is wine of a mitzvah. Let's put that in parentheses. What is wine of a mitzvah? Kiddush of Avdalta. L'chora means the wine of Kiddush and Avdallah. That is also to drink the wine of Kiddush and Avdallah. The Gemara is on top of Avdallah. Hare, there's a question how to gears over here. We'll try to take the words. Hare mushbav omid alav mehar Sinai. How could the Nazir become aser to drink the wine of Kiddush and Avdallah? Mushbav omid mehar Sinai means if somebody already has him, Hashem told him something, he swore by Har Sinai, like all the Jews, that we're going to fulfill the mitzvahs. So you can't make a shvur against that later on. So to make himself a Nazir is going against the shvur that he already made. He made the shvur going to do all the mitzvahs. That would include also making Kiddush and Avdallah, which the Gemara seems to say would also include the wine, drinking the wine of Kiddush and Avdallah.
Okay. I thought the wine was rabbinic.
Right, so they asked the kasha. Yeah, before
Because
some of
you
those
could
asked the
just say
kasha.
Good Shabbos or
Why?
Shavuot. I thought you could say good Shabbos and you made Kiddush.
Midaraisa, we hold you don't have to have the wine, so it's only Rabbanan. So the Rishonim Master Kasha that is not mechuyev from Har Sinai to drink wine.
Even if it's with rice, he doesn't have to drink it. The old person makes Kiddush has to drink it.
Somebody else could drink. He doesn't have to do it himself.
Oh.
So there are those that learn the Gemara, the opposite of what I said, that is in Mushba Vomid Mar Sinai, which means what's the Kiddush? Of course he's aser. Of course he's aser to drink the wine of Kiddush and Avdallah because he has no mitzvah to drink it, so you don't even need a pasuk. If everybody likes that, we could continue with that Gersa. So that wasn't even a Kiddush. He's saying that the pasuk has to tell you that the Nazir is aser to drink wine of Kiddush and Avdallah, even though there's a mitzvah. No, there's no such mitzvah. Midaraisa, or as Dr. Fine said, that somebody else could drink it. It's not necessary that he has to drink it. So surely he's aser, and you don't need a pasuk for it.
The story, the Chavetz Chaim gave tzedakah, they couldn't afford wine for 5 years. He made Kiddush on the challah.
Are you saying another thing that you don't have to have, even if you do want to make Kiddush on, if you use on bread, it doesn't have to be on wine. So okay, if everybody's happy with that shot, that's around the time, and he learns that the Morris Kasha is he mushma v'omid Mar Sinai? Question mark, exclamation mark, that he doesn't have to, so you don't need a pasuk for that. Ella, so I'll find a different mitzvah. Ki had Amarava Shavua she'eshte v'chazav Amar Reini Nazir Asher Nazirus Chayil al Shavua. And parentheses, that another case of a mitzvah, somebody made a mitzvah, made a shvua that he's going to drink wine. So now it became a mitzvah to drink wine. He invented a mitzvah. He said that I swear that I'm going to drink. And now he said he's a Nazir. So now he's not allowed to drink. So here's a case of a mitzvah that here you have to have a chiddush that he's not allowed to drink the wine, even though he made a shvua that he's going to drink wine. Now that he became a Nazir, the Nazir overrides the shvua, and he's not allowed to drink wine. First, it's like a side point. The Gemara wanted to know what's a mitzvah. What's the case of a mitzvah? If it's going to be a wine for Kiddush and Avdallah, it's not a mitzvah. You wouldn't need a pasuk for that. So I'll find you a mitzvah, a case where he made a shvua, I'm going to drink. Then he said he's a Nazir, so now the Nazirus overrides. So that's what Rav Shimon does with that pasuk. Again, that's
somebody that can't drink wine and he's getting married, and so they usually the husband and drink the wine.
They don't have to.
Doesn't have to. And the Kala can drink by herself, or she doesn't have to.
And somebody else can drink it. It doesn't have to be.
He made a shavua that he would drink.
Right, and then he said, "I'm a Nazir." For the past couple of weeks, he hasn't been drinking. He's been drinking. He made a shvua. He's going to drink wine every.
You're saying the Nazirus would override
overrides the shvua. Okay, that's one. The other unfortunate, but if everyone's happy with that, that's one pshat. So just to back up what happened over here, the Rabbanan had a pasuk of Yain v'Shecho Yazir to teach you that even if he made himself a Nazir from one thing, it already takes effect on he becomes a regular Nazir. So what does Rav Shimon do with that pasuk? So he used it to say that wine, the Nazirus overrides the mitzvah. If he has a mitzvah of drinking wine, whatever the case would be, the Nazirus would override that mitzvah. That was Rav Shimon to answer. What?
Miyayin b'shachar.
That pasuk he used it wrong. So now they're going to have to answer. They're going to have to respond that you need the pasuk like Rav Shimon just said. Also, you can't use the pasuk. The pasuk is not extra to say your drasha that you learn from there that even a Nazir for one thing becomes a Nazir and everything, because you need Rav Shimon's drasha that it asks even wine of a mitzvah. So the Gemara answers, Rabbanan will say it doesn't have to say yain and sheikhar. For that drasha, I agree to you. It means Rabbanan agreeing that you need a pasuk to tell you that even the wine of mitzvah is also asr. But it didn't have to say yain and sheikhar. It could have just said yain. My v'sheikhar. Why did it have the extra words? And now we're saying this is really the word that Rabbanan meant to darshan. The yain, everybody agrees to the same thing, that the yain is going to be to tell you that it's asr even for a mitzvah. But the word sheikhar is extra, and that's what Rabbanan said. From here we learn out that even making a nazir on one thing already spreads out everything. So therefore it has the extra word, so you can learn how to do things. The yain tells you one thing, the sheikhar tells you something else. So Rav Shimon is back on the defense again. What is he gonna do with the word sheikhar? Rav Shimon, Hainu time by the cause of sheikhar. You know why it says sheikhar? La lufe sheikhar l'mikdash. In order to teach to the Beis HaMikdash. Means it's true. By Nazir, you don't need the word sheikhar. It's extra. You don't need it over here. You need it in order to make a Gzer Shavuot to teach, not to learn, but to teach that by the Beis HaMikdash, it's also usher to come into the Beis HaMikdash if you drink wine. Shtuya yain. By Aaron, it says that you and your children, all the Kohanim, should not drink wine or shechar when you go into the Beis HaMikdash. So what kind of shechar is that? Just like that's a given, that the shechar that it says by Nazir, it's only a shechar, or whatever it means, it's only going to be a shechar of wine. What's the difference between yain and shechar? We have to figure it out. A new wine, old wine, whatever it's going to be. But it has to be grapes. So, and that's given because it's talking about grapes by a Nazir. That's pashut. So a Nazir is allowed to drink all kinds of schnapps and whatever. I don't know the names of different alcoholic. What is that?
I don't know if all Schnapps. Brandy is made from wine.
So the word schnapps is wrong, but
Yeah,
whiskeys,
that we drink,
whiskeys and whatever.
Okay.
So there's no limitation for the Nazir not to drink alcohol. It's just that he shouldn't have from wine. And here we learn out to the Beis Mikdash also. Even intoxicating beverages are also mutter to go to the Beis Mikdash. It's only us. It's only us wine.
Kiddush.
Kiddush. And not
He can
much.
have a l'chaim.
What is that?
He can have a l'chaim on vodka and then go.
To the Beis Mikdash. That's what I seem to say. It's going to be machlokas right away. If that's true by us, everybody agrees. But not everybody agrees that us is only us to drink wine. He'd be allowed to have all kinds of alcohol, whiskey. And now the Gemara says that this is a machlokas. This point, what he just said now, that you learn out shechar. The word shechar was used as a link, a gzera shava to learn out. So lafukim mid Rabbi Yehuda.
Lafukim means that Rabbi Yehuda did not.
Right. So Rabbi Yehuda is going to hold that it is also to go into the Beis Mikdash after drinking whiskey. Rabbi Shimon is the one. The Tanya of Yehuda Omer, Achal Vela Kilis, V'Shasad Vash V'Cholov, and Nechlas HaMikdash Chayiv, that even something which is not so intoxicating, what it's a little bit, here it says, the Vela Kilis is a name of a place called Keilah. And
It's
used to,
place?
yeah, it's in the Navi where it talks about David and Shaul, we went to Keilah. That's what it seems to be a name of a place in Eretz Yisrael. And they made a Devela, in that place, they used to have Devela, they made a Devela, which is dried figs that were pressed together. And that was considered intoxicating. Was it mamish intoxicating? I don't think so. But was it fermented? I don't know. But it was something that made a person a bit drowsy.
It probably made, well, if it fermented, then it made alcohol.
Okay, then it's fine. That'd be a good example.
Some fruitcakes could be.
Okay. And then dvash, here you have honey. Honey also would be something which is considered a bit intoxicating, and even milk. Maybe it'll be whole milk that we're not used to too much, and it has the cream, so it makes me drowsy, whatever the case is. But that's also usher to go into the mikdash. So he doesn't hold. Excuse me, of this gzera shava. Everybody agrees by Nazir, it's only usher shechar of wine. The question is shechar that it says by going into the Beis HaMikdash, is that also only wine? So Shimon says it's a gzera shava link of shechar to tell you that whatever applies to a Nazir also applies by going into the mikdash, and therefore only wine. And Yehuda argues and says that doesn't hold that it's gzera shava. But at least we found a place for the machlokas now that is extra word shechar. So I want to say you learn it from the word shechar that even one thing that he accepted upon himself makes him a nazir for everything. What does Shimon do with the word shechar? To learn out in the Beis HaMikdash also there's no issur of drinking, only wine, but not intoxicating beverages. And the Gemara is happy with that machlokas. What do you do with the word shechar? Yain, everybody learned out that it's coming to tell you that even wine of a mitzvah is asur. And shechar is a machlokas. If the Rabbanan Rayas will say you learn out from there. Shechar, the Rabbanan say from shechar you learn out. I'm saying that you learn out, even accepting one thing of Nazir makes him a nazir and everything. And Rabbi Shimon says I use that to tell you that by the Beis HaMikdash it's only also to come in with intoxicating beverage of yayin, wine, and not any kind of intoxicating beverage. Okay, seems to be good. At this point, we're happy.
The rabbi said that the shechar was that the Kohanim cannot go in intoxicated.
Rabbi
That was Rabbi
Yehuda.
Yehuda.
Rabbi Yehuda. So it means he doesn't have to have the
Well,
shechar.
what did the rabbis use? Shechar. They used the shechar to show that you didn't need to list everything.
Right. Even if he
Yeah.
only said one thing, it makes him on everything.
Okay,
And that's what we needed.
That was our main
we came in.
question.
And now what's Hashem going to do? He's going to learn out that going
That
to the
you
mikdash also is only us if
only
it's
wine.
wine. And the Rabbanan don't hold it out because the whole like Rabbi Yehuda that you taka archai by the mikdash even without the kind of
Good.
sheikhah.
And then the
Then-
Iboy Seimer.
Now, there's a Iboy saying here that I have to apologize that I didn't get the pshat. So if it's okay, if we
But is
could,
it means like alternative?
alternative, yeah. But the
Another
question
way
is,
of
what's
learning
the kind of answer? So I'll read the words. There's two lines that I didn't understand. I see the concept that's called Ein Nisach Halalisa, but I don't know what it has to do with us. And the Rishonim have different pshatim here. I didn't get clarity. So we'll come back with Hashem. I'm not sure. Matzah Shabbos, maybe Sunday, but just the words. Another answer. So I don't know what it's answering. But Rav Shimon, unless the Isser Halalisa, Rav Shimon doesn't hold that one Isser could take effect over another Isser. There is such a concept. He brings an example. The Tanya Rav Shimon Omer Ochel Nevelu Yom Kippurim Pater. If a person ate a nevela, a dead animal, it wasn't shechted, it wasn't properly slaughtered, it's also to eat it. So if he ate it on Yom Kippur, so
Putter
he
from
ate
what?
on Yom Kippur, so he's pater from a carbon chatas of eating on Yom
Nevela?
Kippur because it
Over
was a
eating
nevela
it.
first. He's not high for eating. The Isser of Yom Kippur can't take effect on the Isser of nevela. It was a nevela.
Although
It was also a thesis thing.
Isser Chal,
I'll listen. One effect, one Isser can't take effect
No, but
over
it was
another Isser.
simultaneous.
It was an Avela first. It was an Avela of Yom Kippur. It was an Avela before Yom Kippur. Or maybe whichever one came first. I'm not on the sugya now, but let's say regular
No,
case. It
What,
was
what
an
is,
Avela.
what's the Isser of an Avela?
Now-
An animal dies, it dies. What's the?
Not allowed to
Isser?
eat it.
Right, so he didn't eat it.
It's also to eat. On this
It's
piece of
Isser to
meat,
eat, okay, and then Yom Kippur comes.
and now it's also also to eat.
And now it's
Is the
Isser
Isser to eat on Yom Kippur take effect on a piece of meat that's also to eat anyway? It's gonna have two
Oh.
Isurim. He ate Nevela and he ate on Yom Kippur. No, he ate Nevela. But the fact that it was Yom Kippur is not
And I
gonna,
see the Isser of Nevela was before Yom
Before.
Kippur, because it was when the
Right.
animal died.
right. And Yom
the
Kippur
Isser
didn't come
of
yet.
Yom Kippur was
Only comes when
Yom
when Shkia
That's
comes.
called Lace Isser Chal Al Isser. But when he ate it, it was simultaneous.
Which Isser came effect first? The Isser was there already before.
Okay.
The second Isser won't come. So
And so Rabbi Shimon holds. that
he
he's
he
putter.
doesn't hold Isser Chalal Isser. An example would be that he ate Nevela on Yom Kippur. He's part from a Chatas of eating on Yom Kippur because it was an Nevela first.
Okay.
So what does that have to do with us? What does that answer? Everybody saying, I'll tell you another answer. What
No,
what exactly does it answer? No, I stopped over there. That's not the parentheses. What does the Rashi say? It's a bit complicated.
The Rashi has an inami at the end, which makes it super.
So is he boy saying? So is he? If where's where's that? 1 second.
The people must be by same at the end.
I didn't see this Inami. At the end of the Rashi, Inami ki his ras from an ayin lo asi esed tiklachas v'tumah v'chayla esed yain l'shavli another gomor. That this Iboy Shem is going to be another pshat in Rav Shimon, not because of the pasuk. We
Right.
brought a pasuk first, and we're in the middle of discussing who holds what, which the Gemara still didn't finish. It's a bit dochak. The Gemara is going to continue talking about the pasuk, and here we're saying that another pshat in Rav Shimon altogether. Forget about everything we said, not because of psukim. That at first he said he's also to drink wine, and then the question is it also also to glachas and tumah? That will be called Enes Echalal Isser. It seems very difficult. I didn't see it, I didn't think it, but it's a big chiddush because the Isser of Nazir has three aspects. It's not like two different Isurim, and once he's not allowed to drink wine, so now that seems to be a fella. And also talk about the pits and the thing also. Okay, I didn't see that, but I hope to do more homework. Yeah, I saw that everybody has different shatim over here. It doesn't seem to be so simple what the boy is saying was going on. Rashi says it's going on the whole issue, which also was difficult because the more continues now back with the drushes. Oh, it's also, I forgot to say at the beginning of the receptor, like I said, this is not Russian.
Oh.
This also is not.
More not actually than the dark.
That's what they say.
I think.
There's more sources. They bring down the first page, in the first Rashi, they bring down the bottom of the page. It says from the Chidah that Rashi on Nazir is Mafarish. It's not the same person.
In the Durham, at least it's a Rashi on top.
And here it doesn't even say that.
It doesn't say Rashi.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't say Rush.
I'm so
Okay.
happy with Rashi.
But who are you just quoting? Were we just quoting the
Next one.
Rush or the Rush? What did you just?
That was
read?
Rashi. That was Rashi.
Like that.
Rashi's second shot. So I didn't look into it. I saw that I was getting stuck on it, so we're going to get up there only. So I put it on the side, and we went further. We could do a daf Bez Hashem, and we'll come back to these two lines. The Gemara is still bothered. Now back to the psukim. We're still in the psukim. So we said Rabbi Ranan, they learn from Sheikh. Rabbi Shimon does from Sheikh to learn out that in the base of Mikdash, it's also only Yasser if it's from wine. Okay. Now Rabbanan, but I do Rabbi Shimon's pasuk. Rabbi Shimon had a pasuk Mechasan and Badzag. etc. The pasuk over there that Rav Shimon brought in the beginning that says Mechasana Vazak, from there learns out that you have to answer everything. If you want to answer a Nazir, you can't just say pits, you have to say everything. And not only enough to say wine, you also have to say about Tumah and Teklachas. That was Rav Shimon's extra pasuk that he learned out that you're not a Nazir if you said something. One thing doesn't make you a Nazir. Everything or nothing, Rav Shimon says nothing. So what are Rabbanan do with that pasuk? That's to teach you that if you have different isurim, like you have grapes and pits and wine, and you took a little bit of each, is it mitzvah? Does it combine? Does it combine to the shear to say that he didn't just have only grapes or only pits? He combined. So Rabbanan say that the pasuk that says mechasana bazak is to say that everything is mitzvah. Leave it on the Yisurim Nazir should start from Zemzeh to teach you the Yisurim that Nazir is not allowed to eat, that they combine, and a little bit of that, a little bit combines to the Shir. That's what does Rav Shimon do with that? What does Rav Shimon do with that? This is easy. Rav Shimon less late tziruf. Rav Shimon doesn't need any combination because he holds you don't need a kazayas or any kind of Shir to be chayiv. He holds that the Isser is even on a mashu. The Tanya, Rav Shimon Omer, Kol Shula Malkus, the B'chayiv Malkus, it's even without a Shir. Lam kazayas that linear korban. The Shir kazayas only by a korban, and by Nazir that's other issues, other averos. So by trade, by nevela, let's say that nevela is not a korban, nevela is no korban on nevela, but chayla, something that's going to be a korban chatas. So markets is even on a mashu. The kazai is only to bring a korban, but by nazir there is no korban. There's no the avera of drinking wine for a nazir is not chayv korban. It's chayv malchus. They did a losa say the korban nazir does bring a korban at the end of nazir. The zirus tumah, the zirus tara, but that's not the point over here. Of drinking, of eating a grape, is that you don't need a shear. For the Makis, it's chayv even a masha. We hold that even for Makis also is only a shear kazayis. So you can talk about sirup. But Rav Shimon says he doesn't need a pasuk for that because there's no sirup necessary. If someone took a pit, even a masha, he's chayv on that even without the rest of the kazayis of grapes, whatever. So therefore, you don't need a pasuk. So what do we do in the whole sugya? We just darshan of psukim. Means we had a machokis. One sugya, the sugya was
each stood their own ground.
Right.
We don't have their own.
Right, well, that's not the one against Rav Shimon. Our Mishnah against Rav Shimon.
Because he's a yachid?
Yes, and also it's a Mishnah against the Brisa, also the Ram against the Yachid. So that's what comes out that
well, the Mishnah against the Brisa is just because he made it Brisa.
The Rav Shimon, Yehuda Nasi made it a Mishnah.
Yeah.
So again,
Made the Mishnah as opposed to a Brisa.
right, that it became more authoritative, that it's in the Mishnah. So what do we have? That Machlokes, if a person set upon himself one aspect of the Zirus, it means he's signed down the whole thing already, and he's a full Nazir. It could be maybe he can go to the Rav and say that I didn't know that, and I didn't mean it, and I want to be Mutcharet. It could be Shoel, it could be Matir and Nazirus. So because I didn't realize. But he is right now until he's Matir Neder, he's a Nazir for everything. Rav Shimon holds he's not a Nazir at all. We had a sugya we talked about. Maybe we'll talk about it right now. Also, maybe there's such thing as a partial nazirus is only a nazir for some aspects that we didn't talk about. So we have talked about all or nothing. Rabbanan say that if you accepted a little bit, you're a full nazir. Rishon says you're nothing. How about a case where it's possible to be a nazir only for certain things? Right. There's that possible. That we didn't talk about. Here's going to talk about.
Wouldn't that just be a netter?
But it won't be nazir.
It's not going to do nazir. If it's a nazir, there's going to be korban.
Yeah, the whole thing of nazir. So is there such a thing exists to be a nazir only for some aspects? Let's see next mission. Hareni kishimshon. Somebody says I'm going to be like Shimshon. I'm hereby like Shimshon. Everybody knows Shimshon was a nazir. Yeah. Or he says or. Now I'm saying or. Just for a second, we'll change it soon. Or Keben Manoach. Everybody knows Shimshon's father's name was Manoach. So he said, I'm like the son of Manoach. Another way of saying Shimshon. Or he said, I'm like Kibal Delila. Delila was the wife. Right. And she's the one who caused all the problems. So he said, I'm like the husband of Delila, so Shimshon. Yeah. Or Kamisha Akadalsos Azza, the one who uprooted the doors of Azza, which also was Shimshon. One of the stories of his strength was that he was in Azza and they came to get him and he picked up the doors and he ran and he went. He picked up the gates. Or Kamisha Nikol Pelishtim Asainov, the one who the Pelishtim poked out his eyes. All these ways are ways of saying Shimshon. And what's the din? A Nazir Shimshon. He's a Nazir. He's a Nazir Shimshon. What's special about a Nazir Shimshon? We'll see. That maybe he can be Tamil Mason. Maybe there's no issue for him to be Tamil Mason, which is going to be the next Mishnah. But you could have printed it together. But here it says that he's a Nazir Shimshon. So it seems to be that any one of these terms is a way of saying Shimshon, and he's a Nazir Shimshon. What's a Nazir Shimshon? We'll see. But Lamali the mistake on the line. How come you need all these different ways of calling Shimshon? Is there any chiddush in all these things? Halein is these, and this is only used in the Dharma and Nazir. Otherwise, you would say Lamale, whatever, Kalhani Lamale, Tzricha. But then what Kali Lane is a different way in Aramaic to say these. Why do you need all these? Tzricha, you need all of these things. The Iyama have any Kishimshon, have a minute, Kishimshon Achmina. If you listen to like Shimshon, might be like Shimshon down the block. I'm like Shimshon Greenberg, he doesn't mean Dafka Shimshon from the Tanakh. That's why I have to say Shimshon ben Manoach. You might think that somebody Shimshon ben Manoach Greenberg. It might be somebody around the corner that said Shimshon ben Manoach. Doesn't mean Dafka the personality in Tanakh. That's already Shimshon ben Manoach, the Valdalila, that means the real Shimshon. Or Commission Equal Position Masena, or the ones that is Isaac. So now you know what Shimshon is talking about. That's the end of the Gemara. It seems.
So then it seems that you have to mention them all.
Right.
You can't just say this Shimshon.
Right. And I said in Mishnah, I said either one, this or that or that.
Four choices.
And the Gemara says no, this one alone is not enough. This one alone is not enough. Even two of them is not enough. You have to have three.
You have to have all four.
Not all four. You could have, but once you get Baal Lila, or you could say Kamika Shakala, or you could say Azab or Nikru Einav, but the first two alone is not going to be enough. So it comes out, according to Gemara, that if someone said Haveni Kishmishin and Menoch, it's not good enough. And that's what some poskim say. The Rambam seems to go against the Gemara, and he says any one of these are good. And how does he explain the Gemara? Ein Mefarshim. But the Gemara seems to say against the Pashut Pshat in the Mishnah that some of them are not good enough. You have to say a few of them to make sure that you're isolating this. That this is the I meant Shimshon of the Tanakh.
Even if Belibo he says that he's going to be in Nazir.
That's a chiddush, right? It's a big chiddush. That it's so close, and he said before that if the word includes, we're saying that it's so not specific. The word Shimshon ben Manoach might not be that Shimshon. And what's he saying? Many Kishimshon.
But the last one is okay.
Yes. But the last one alone is okay, and the one of Azza and Dalila, all those.
But what about the one that had the 10? He had 10 sons that they killed in front of him, and then they poked out his eyes.
No, that wasn't the Plishtim. It wasn't the Plishtim.
Huh?
It wasn't the Plishtim who did it.
Oh, the Plishtim. Here it says Plishtim. So it can only be Shimshon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now it tells you there's such a thing as called a Nazir Shimshon. And Rabbi Yaakov said that Nazir Shimshon is allowed to become Tamei Lomeis. So we'll see in the Mishnah, see if it says that. And there's also something called a Nazir Olam, that is an everlasting Nazir. He's a Nazir forever. A Stam Nazir is for 30 days. Or he could specify how long he wants to be a Nazir. 60 days. He can say how long he wants, 7 years. He can say how long he wants to be a Nazir. If someone says, I'm a Nazir Shimshon, he's a Nazir forever. Like that's what it says. I mean, Adi almost said that he should be a Nazir forever, his whole lifetime. So that's a Nazir Shimshon. So to go back a second, when we said that he's a Nazir, he's a Nazir Shimshon, first of all, it means that it's his whole life. If someone says Haveni Nazir, he's a Nazir for 30 days. If he says Haveni Nazir Shimshon, he's a Nazir for his whole life. The Gemara is saying there's also such a thing called a Nazir Olam. A Nazir Olam means eternal Nazir. It's also the same thing for his whole life. Is there a difference between a Nazir Olam and a Nazir Shimshon? Two ways of accepting upon himself to be a permanent Nazir. Either it says I'm a Nazir Olam or a Nazir Shimshon. So is there a difference? So it says there's a difference. Nazir Olam, ich betzar o mekel betar, or maybe shalosh behemos, v'mnitva maybe korban tumah. His hair obviously is going to grow longer and longer and longer. Is he allowed to do something about it? He's not going to mamish end his Nazirus, but is he allowed to lighten it somehow? So there's a difference between a Nazir Olam and a Nazir Shimshon. A Nazir Olam, if his hair gets heavy, he's allowed to lighten it with a razor. A razor means that he doesn't do a beautiful job. He doesn't go to the barber. He uses a razor. It's very sloppy. It doesn't look neat, and he's allowed to take off his hair. Sloppy job.
Mikal.
Mekel is to lighten. The opposite of hichbid.
Oh, Mekel.
Hichbid is heavy, and
He
Mekel is
can
light,
lighten it with a razor.
which means not a good haircut. Maybe shalosh behemos, that he does have to be in the kabbanis when he does that. When he shalosh behemos is usually
when he lightens his hair with a razor, he brings 3 behemoths.
right. That means he's going to continue his Nazirus again. I don't know the details of this halacha, but it seems that he continues his Nazirus forever. But at the interval that he's going to lighten his hair, so he brings 3 behemoths, means about 3 behemoths. Those are going to be the Nazir Tara, not the Nazir Tamid. They didn't become Tamid. He's in the Nazir Tara. At the end of his Nazirus, he brings keves, a kibsa, and a ayil, a keves laola, a kibsa lachatas, and a ayil l'shlamim. So he brings those karbanos when he takes that time of lightening his hair.
It's the other way around. First he has to do the karbanos and then he can cut his hair.
I don't know.
I think so.
Okay.
That's why they say anybody knows a Nazir. You can't do anything because you can't do anything on it.
Even though he's in Nazir Olam nowadays, he wouldn't be able to do that because what?
Nazir for 30 days.
But he can't get out of it.
You can't get out of it. I think.
But you're saying the halacha of teglachas, but I'm not sure if this didn't make batar is the same halacha of teglachas. Maybe you're right. I don't know.
So this was, that was Reb Cook's friend. He never took a haircut? He could never take a haircut?
I never met him.
Understand?
It's quite right. Because they were in Nazir, they know Nazir forever.
In Nitwa, maybe korban tumah, and he has a regular halacha that he's not allowed to become tamei. And if he did, he has to bring a korban. Like in Nazir tumah, what happens that the Nazir tamei, so he has to bring a chatas and ola that's birds. Those are the tziporim over there, and kebes la'asham. So he has the regular halacha. As far as that is regular Nazir, but a Nazir Shimshon is different in these things. There is no such heter to lighten his hair because it got heavy. So he just cannot. Shimshon didn't cut his hair at all. And if he became tamei, there's no problem.
Oh, he can't cut it. There's no cutting.
There's no cutting here at all. And if he became tamei, he doesn't have that halacha that he has to bring a korban. He doesn't bring a korban. It doesn't sound exactly like Leib Yaakov said. Leib Yaakov said that he's allowed to become tamei, and that the Mishnah doesn't sound like. The Gemara is going to talk about it. Is they actually mutter or just as being a korban the way the Mishnah says? So first, the Gemara doesn't understand who started speaking about in the Nazir Olam. We just said a second ago that Areni Kishimshon or Mishnah before, it said all kinds of Nazir Shimshon. Then it should say, what's a Nazir Shimshon? Right away it jumps to a Nazir Olam, difference between Nazir Olam and Nazir Shimshon. Mandar Chashmei, who mentioned it? The answer is that stick it in. It's missing. Stick it in. It doesn't have to mean the mamash is missing, but it means it's understood that it's missing. The point is to say that there's a Nazir Shimshon who's forever, and now there's a difference between how you could be forever. You could be a Nazir Olam, or you could be a Nazir Shimshon. Omer, the rest of the lines is going to be just saying the Mishnah with the new insert. Omer Areni Nazir Olam, I raise a Nazir Olam. If someone says I'm an everlasting Nazir, that's the halacha. But there's a difference between a Nazir Shimshon and Nazir Olam. Ma ben Nazir Olam, the Nazir Shimshon, you read the whole Mishnah. Nazir Olam, just chazing over the Mishnah, you could leave it out. Ich b'tzara mekel b'tar, maybe shalosh behemos, and then maybe korban toma. Nazir Shimshon, ich b'tzara ene mekel b'tar, ve'eno amud beis, maybe korban toma. We just read the whole Mishnah over again, and we just stuck in the Chsor Mechsura that the first it says such thing as a Nazir Olam. We finished. That is, the thing is a Nazir Shimshon. Then it said such thing as a Nazir Olam. And the Mishnah says, what's the difference? And these are the two differences. That Nazir Olam is allowed to lighten his hair when it gets too heavy. You bring kabbanis when he does that. And he has the regular halacha about bringing a korban toma. And the Nazir Shimshon is these two things different. That he doesn't ever have to cut his hair at all. And he doesn't bring the korban. And then Gemara goes into Leib Yaakov's question, is he allowed to? That's the top line.
Are we at korban?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
How's it go? Let's see. Okay. Korban who? The low maisi. It just doesn't mean a korban. Avon Nazir's chaylalei. Seems from the Mishnah the diak is that he is a Nazir, even like Gabi this, that he's not allowed to become Tamei to Mason. Mani Masnisan. Then who's the Mishnah? We don't know such a Tana. That he's not allowed to become Tamei Lameis, but just that he doesn't mean a korban if he does. Who's that? Lord Yehuda, Lord Shimon. We just know from a price of two opinions, and this is neither. The Tanya of Yehuda Omer, Nazir Shimshon, Mutter L'Tamei Lameisen. That not only is it not a korban, but it's even mutter. It has no issue. He only has 2 out of the 3 surim. He has not allowed to drink wine, and he's not allowed to take a haircut, but he may become tamei l'meisen. Do we know anything about Shimshon? Shekem was seen by Shimshon. Shenitma, we find Shimshon was tamei l'meisen. He did defile himself to the dead. Where do we find that?
Are we still in the Brisa or not?
Yes. And we can continue. Reb Shimon is still the Brisa. Reb Shimon Omer Nazir Shimshon Omer Klum. There is no such thing as a Nazir Shimshon. He doesn't know these. There's no such thing. Shalom Asina b'Shimshon. She says Nazir Smipir. He never made himself a Nazir. Did Shimshon ever say Hareni Nazir?
No, he was born.
He would. Who? How do you become a Nazir? So the Malach says he should become a Nazir, but that's not called a Nazir. We'll see more in the Gemara. The Gemara really just says here that he didn't make himself a Nazir. It doesn't say he's not a Nazir.
So there's no such thing. According to Rabbi Shimon, there's no such thing.
So I think I'll say,
yourself a Nazir Shimshon.
yeah, you can't make yourself a Nazir.
Can't make yourself a Nazir Shimshon the same way Shimshon didn't make himself a
Nazir Shimshon. So I think, I'm not sure, but I think, I didn't see any information on this, I just rushed through it. But the Gemara is going to talk about that if he said I'm a Nazir like Shimshon, that's what Shimon is saying. I can't be a Nazir like Shimshon. Is there such thing as being a Nazir Shimshon? If he says, Haveni Nazir Shimshon, means I'm saying that you should put a chaf over here. A chaf. Haveni Omer Nazir Kishimshon. You can't make a Nazir like Shimshon because we're going to say soon that has to be a Dobar Nodar. It has to be that the thing you're answering yourself is like something which became Aser by somebody's mouth that he was noted to be, but Shimshon wasn't. But if he would say I'm a Nazir Shimshon, he wasn't matfis. He wasn't matfis in something. So I don't know enough yet. But all the one wants at this point is that there's machlokes if there is such a thing as saying I'm a Nazir like Shimshon. The Mishnah before.
Why can't you say it's just made a neder?
I'm sorry.
He's taking a neder to be like Shimshon.
So that's the most going to go into soon the subject. If you have to be matfis and a davar another, when you say I'm going to, we had that concept in where did we have it about a davar another? I forgot where it was, but Kibush Alayim, at the beginning of Nadarim, where I talked about making I'm answering myself in apples the same way as something. That something has to be a davar another, something which became usher. What? Like a korban also. But if you're going to say something which is not, which became usher not because of a korban, like nevela. I'm answering this thing on me like nevela. So nevela is something which is not a davar another. It didn't become usher because of a neder. So here it's
he says a shvua.
He could say a shvua. He could say I'm making a shvua. But if he wants to be matfis, if he's matfis in something that he's saying I'm like that. That's why I thought that maybe it's going to be another kishim shon. And that's we'll see the Gemara soon. Maybe it's better to talk about it when we get up to it. But right now, the Gemara just says that two shittas. If this Zer Shimshon, the Buddha says he's mutter l'tamil l'mesim, mutter, and the Shimon says there's no such thing in the first place. There's no such thing. So our Mishnah that you're saying is that the Mishnah is mashma that he doesn't bring a korban on Tumah, but he is also l'tamil l'meis. It doesn't find any Tana, not that we do not Rav Shimshon, not Rav Shimon, not Rav Shimon. Mani, who is our Mishnah going to be attributed to? Rav Yehuda, Ha'amar Chila Chatchila, Masisin Katanim Nitma. Rav Yehuda himself says that it's even mutter l'chatchila tamil l'mesim. Our Mishnah only says there's no im nitma, there's no korban, but it doesn't say it's mutter. And here Rav Shimon, Ha'amar lo chayla lein naziros kalal. He says no such thing as naziros at all. So who's our Mishnah?
What does l'chatchila mean? Afilu l'chatchila.
There's no problem. He's l'chatchila. We always say the word l'chatchila. He's even how do you say the word l'chatchila in English? He's be allowed. He's be allowed to become.
He's been allowed to become.
Afilu l'chatchila, he become tamil, like you said. And the Rav Yehuda like you, but the Mishnah doesn't say that. The Mishnah says he doesn't bring a korban, and the Mishnah says only nitma, he doesn't bring a korban. And if it's Rav Shimon, he says it's not a serious at all. So who's our Mishnah? So the Gemara says that Rabbi Yaakov is right. Lolam Rav Yehudi, our Mishnah holds like Rav Yehuda. And why does it say about not bringing a korban? They should have said he's mutter b'chatchila to become tamil l'meis. I did the tani gabi nazir olam nitma in nitma kama tananami gabi nazir shimshon in nitma. Really means to say that he's mutter, but in contrast to the Reisha said that if he's a Nazir Olam, he has all the halachas of Tumah, and even if he becomes Tameh, he even has to bring a korban, full-fledged Nazir Lagabi Tumah. But so therefore, by Nazir Shimshon it says he doesn't have that. That means he doesn't bring a korban. But you're right, really, he's even mutter lachatchila. Finish.
So in other words, just bookends im nitma because it talked about
im nitma, because it talked about im nitma by
the olam.
By the Nazir Olam. And therefore continues speaking about that Nazir Shimshon is the opposite. That doesn't have that thing, Imnit might be a korban, Imnit doesn't bring a korban. But really, the truth is he could have said a stronger chiddush that it's even mutter l'chatchila. Like Rav Yehuda says, the Farish in the Brisa, that a Nazir Shimshon is allowed to become tamil l'meis. Okay. Now the Gemara wants to know what's the machlokes of Yehuda Rav Shimon. What are they arguing about that? Rav Yehuda says there is such a thing as a Nazir Shimshon, and Rav Shimon says no such thing. May we assume that they're arguing in the machlokes of the following Tanan. The Tanan, Harei Alai Ki B'chor. Here it's talking about regular Nador, not about Nazir. Someone says, I am hereby, I am answering myself or the kikor like a B'chor. Just like a B'chor is asr, to be that's like a korban. Harei like konam, all those things mean the korban. But what kind of a korban? So here it talks about a B'chor. Other korban is that a person makes a korban by declaring it. He says, Hareza Ola, Hareza Shlamim, Hareza Chatas. So he declares it. A B'chor is different because a B'chor is born a korban. As soon as it's born, it's automatically a korban. So that's something unique. Could somebody make a neder by answering a piece of bread like a B'chor? Is that a valid neder? Rabbi Yaakov Osa, Rabbi Yossi Mati. Machlokes Tanon. Rabbi Yaakov says yes, Rabbi Yossi says no. What's that all about? The Gemara understands that it's not a davar anodor. That a B'chor wasn't something that you created by saying so. It was created because being born, a firstborn. So my love, Rabbi Yehuda Sava like Rabbi Yaakov, Damalo being a davar neder. Rabbi Yaakov seems to say that you can make a neder on something which was not also because of your word, like a Bechor, and therefore Rabbi Yehuda says that Shimshon also, that was not a Nazir because of his word, that's called an Adadavar another. I can answer myself like him, and it takes effect, just like a neder takes effect on a Bechor, so a Nazir takes effect on a Nazir Shimshon. Rabbi Yoshim and Sabalak Rabbi Yossi, Dama Bina Dabra Nida. And why does Rabbi Yossi hold that you can't make the bread like a Bechor because it was not neither? So Shimshon also was not neither. He wasn't created a Nazir by saying the word Nazir. Wasn't his word, it was made by the Malach. So that wouldn't be a valid Nazir either. So the more things that are found in Machlokes, Rabbi Yaakov and Rabbi Yossi, L'gabei Dabra Nidr, that if you have to want to answer something with a neder, does it have to be on something which was pronounced made also by your word or not? And the Machlokes will be the Machlokes of Yehuda and Abshim. Lo, the Gemara says not necessarily. It is true, l'chora, that Rabbi Yehuda will say so. Rabbi Yehuda will say the reason that you don't need a Dabra Nidr. That's what the Gemara seems to say. That Rabbi Yehuda says that you can make stuff Nazir like Shimshon is because he doesn't hold need a Dabra Nidr, like a Bechor, you don't need Dabra Nidr. But the Gemara is going to say that it's possible that Rabbi Shimon doesn't have to say that we're arguing this machlokas, and I only hold like Rabbi Yossi. The Kuli Amabina Dabra Nidr. Rabbi Shimon could say that everybody holds like me that you do need a Dabra Nidr, and by saying I'm a Nazir Shimshon doesn't work because it wasn't Nidr. So how come Rabbi Yaakov says that by Bechor that you could make the bread usher like a Bechor? It's not a Dabra Nidr. Shani Gabi Bechor, the Sibbe Lashem. The Rambam says a Bechor. There's a special pasuk that over there it says, what's the pasuk Lashem over here? Which pasuk is he referring to?
You don't know the Hashem.
The regular pasuk of making a neder. That over there says making neder Lashem. What's the word Lashem saying? Even something which is all Lashem, not because I made it Lashem. It's automatically Lashem. It's also possible to make a neder with that thing. So there's a special pasuk, but by Nazirus he would agree that you cannot become a Nazir by saying Shimshon because it wasn't a Dabra Nidr. What is Rabbi Yossi going to do with this pasuk of Lashem? According to the Snoop Shot, that they're arguing the word Lashem, what is Rabbi Yossi who argues? What's he going to do with it? Rabbi Yossi Amalacha, Ahu Lashem, Yivoy the Rabbos Chatas Vasham. The go to Bechor is a big jump. There are some kavanas that's mamash your word. You're the word created it, like Ola, Shlomim. But there's a small jump that's called Chatas and Asham. Chatas and Asham also you have to create it. You have to say raise a Chatas, raise a Asham. But that's something that you were forced into. Hashem said you must bring a Chatas, you must bring an Asham. So even though he also created with his word, there's a chiddush that even that which you must accept upon yourself also is a good davar hanidr. But to go so high to jump even to a Bechor, which is Kaddish without any word at all, that you don't see. So Rabbi Yossi holds you do need a davar nidr. Even a chatas vashim is also called a davar nidr. So if someone said that this piece of bread is going to be also like a chatas or be also like a nasham, Rabbi Yossi will say that's called a davar nidr. But to say like a bechor, it's not a davar nidr at all. Umaro is, why do you say that a chatas vashim is more reason than a bechor? Why do you see fit to say that chatas vashim is going to be included and it's called davar nidr and a bechor is not? Because ma'abani chatas vashim shekei matfisin beneder. The chatas vashim you do have to make it. You do have to say areza chatas areza hasham. But a bechor you don't have to. So therefore, this is called davar nidr. This is not called davar nidr. But you don't see a chiddush so much to say even a bechor. Rabbi Yaakov Amalacha, what's Rabbi Yaakov going to say? How does he know to jump so high that even a bechor is included in the word Lashem? Maybe only a chatas and a hasham? No, bechor nan matfisa benederhu. You do have to pronounce a bechor, even though it was born a bechor. You do have to pronounce it. Titania shal beis Rabbeinu amru v'nai lenoda lo bechor v'sochedru shemitzvah lov lakdisho. Who's Rabbeinu? I'm not sure. That how do you know that if someone had a firstborn born in his flock, that he has to consecrate, he has to say, raise a bechor, even though it's a bechor, if he likes it or not. But he's supposed to be makdashit, shenema hazachor takdish, that you should consecrate this firstborn male. It says takdish, the word takdish. It does say the word takdish. So therefore, you are supposed to consecrate it, even though it's a bechor without that, but you're supposed to consecrate it, so it's called also davar nidr. Rabbi Yossi Amalacha, nihid the mitzvah lakdisho, ilo makdish le'milo kadosh. It's true, you're supposed to say Hareza Kadosh, but if you don't, it's still Kadosh anyway. It's a mitzvah to say on the Bechor Hareza Kadosh, but it works even if you don't say it, so it's not called Davar Nidr. What does it want with all this? That it's not necessarily dependent on the Machlok. Yehuda and Shimon are arguing about the Nazir Shimshon. Is it called the Davar Nidr? is not necessarily dependent on the machlokes between Rabbi Yaakov and Rabbi Yossi if Bechor is called a Davar Nidar. Rabbi Shimon will say that everybody holds like me that you need a Davar Nidar, and therefore Shimshon is not a Davar Nidar. There's a specific machlokes. If there's an egg by making a neder on a Bechor, that's a specific machlokes. Is that called a Davar Nidar? Because it says Lashem. Because it says Lashem, so that's coming to be marba something, even though it's not mamash a Davar Nidar. And that Rabbi Yaakov says that's a Bechor, that's not called the Davar Nidar. But everyone can still hold like me that by Nazirus you would need a Davar Nidar, and Shimshon is not a Davar Nidar. The Master Kasha, Rabbi Nazir Ami Yaksiv Lashem. If you're right that Rabbi Yaakov says over there, Lashem is coming to be marba even a Davar that's not a Nidar, so then say by Nazirus also, you should have argued it is dependent, because he would say consistently, if he'd be consistent, he would say that the word Lashem by Nazir is also coming to be marba, even not a Davar Nidar. So if you say Rabbeinu Kishimshon, it should take effect, like Rabbi Yehuda. So how could Rabbi Shimon say, I agree with Rabbi Yaakov? No, that pasuk you need something else. The pasuk Lashem that it says by Nazir is used. The Tanya Rabbi Shimon HaTzadik, the famous story. They never ate from the korban of a Asham Nazir Tameh, because that's why we had that it's not a good thing to make a neder. That the Nazir sometimes that charota. That's what Lazar Kappa. The Rav Lazar Kappa said that it's a chota ala nefesh. It's a chait because after he became tamei, he regrets the whole thing and he's not happy about it. So Shimon HaTzadik held like that, and he wasn't happy to eat from a korban Asham Nazir Tameh because it could be that he regretted it and he wasn't happy. Plus, one time I had a story that I ate from a Asham Nazir Tameh because I thought that he was really sincere. What happened? He came from the south. I don't know where that is. Beautiful. And his hair was curled, beautiful locks of hair. My son, what did you see fit to destroy this beautiful hair? Means he became a Nazir. He became a Nazir, and he came to the base of Mikdash in order to go through the process, and he cuts his part of it. He cuts his hair. So why did you accept Nazir? You're going to cut off the beautiful hair, which I think he's just being sarcastic or not sarcastic. He's trying to investigate what was his intention of becoming a Nazir. Of course, that's what the Nazir is. He dedicates his hair to Hashem, and so why do you need it for? Amali Roah Yisilavi, the Iri. He says, I was a shepherd for my father in my city. And I went to draw water from the well, from the spring. And I saw my reflection in the water, and I saw how beautiful I was. And my Yetzirah, what's the word? Pachas? What is that? Something about Pachas, something about when it goes something rush, they rush to. Usually it means like somebody is without thinking. But here doesn't mean impetuous. But here I think that the word pachas, okay, whatever the gist of it.
The Yaakov used with Reuven.
Right, pachas kumayim maltosar. So okay, whatever the word is over here that he was getting after me. Or all my kind of thoughts came in what I should do with my beauty. And he wanted to drive me out of the world, means with the plans that he had for my beauty. Amati Los, I said to him, who did he say to? He said to Yetzirah, Reka, like you empty one. He's talking to himself, right? His Yetzirah is himself. Yeah. Why are you being arrogant with a world that's not yours? Right. Means it's not forever. Everybody has to think a little about the future, that it doesn't remain. I think anybody that has any kind of he can't enjoy the temporary enjoyments only if he forgets about the future. Then he thinks this is forever. But if you show a beautiful woman how she's going to look down the road, she wouldn't get excited about her beauty. She just would. So he said, "Here, what do you think? What are you doing? And then you're going to be maggots and worms." I swear by Hashem, by the base of Mikdash. It means that avodas Hashem. That's a shvur. Avodas lashon of shvur. I'm going to cut you off for Hashem. That's why I became a Nazir. Shimon HaTzadik asked him, why did you become a Nazir? He said, because of this reason. So Shimon HaTzadik was very sincere. I got up and I kissed him on his head. Like you should increase more Nazim like Yisrael. This is the kind of Nazir that Hashem wants, a man that should make a neder to become a Nazir to Hashem. What do you see with all this? That Hashem, that he's supposed to do l'shem shamayim. That's what the one is the kasha. Why do you do the word l'Hashem? The answer is that you should do the Nazir l'shem shamayim. And it's not an extra word over here that you can learn out that even the Davar Shein and Nador. So what do we do so far? We do have machlokes between Rav Shimon and Rav Yehuda. That doesn't change. There's machlokes of Yehuda Rav Shimon. If someone said Nazir Shimshon, according to Rav Yehuda, it's our Mishnah that he's a Nazir forever. He may not light in his hair, and he may become Tamil Mason. And the Mishnah sounds a little bit like he may not, but he doesn't bring a korban. We figured out from the Brisa that he may even lachatchila cut his hair, become Tamil Mason. I'm sorry. And Rav Shimon doesn't know the whole thing. Rav Shimon says he needs a davar on nador, and Shimshon is not a davar on nador because he didn't make the neder. And Rav Shimon said I can even hold like Rabbi Yaakov that says by Bechor because Bechor is a special pasuk and there is no pasuk. Okay, the Gemara continues. Yes, please.
This is the picture that they sent from. If I understood correctly, this man is a Nazir Shimshon. He and his wife, if I understood correctly.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought we're not supposed to do that. But
I don't know.
if I understood correctly, this man is a Nazir and his wife is a Nazir Shimshon, I should say. Nazir Shimshon.
So he's not Megalea, and he may be Tamil Mason.
Yeah.
I wonder how it works out for. How could she go to the mikvah? How could she make a chanas? You're not allowed to comb your hair.
Or on haircuts.
And it doesn't drink. And Agmar says it doesn't drink wine for kiddush. Does not drink wine for kiddush. Does not drink wine for kiddush.
Oh, but other alcohol. You can make.
All kinds of alcohol.
You
Yeah.
can have l'chaims.
Agmar is a Nazir
Just no brandy.
allowed to cut his beard?
Oh, was another what?
Is a Nazir allowed to cut his beard?
Wow.
Why not? I think even Maskana, yes. Why? I think even Maskana is allowed to. A Nazir, you have a picture of a Nazir? It doesn't look like this. The Nazir is clean shaven.
Did he have a beard?
Yeah.
He doesn't have to have a beard. And he can drink whiskey. Not the way we think of a Nazir.
That's right.
Okay, the Mazakasha. Where are we? That Rav Shimon seemed to have said that there was this hard was explaining a simple thing now. But we're saying Shimshon was not a Nazir, but Shimshon not Nazir. How about Vaksib? Nazir came Yanam, and I bet that it says openly that Shimshon was a Nazir. What is it? Before Shimon said no, Shimshon was not a Nazir. Shimshon was not a Nazir. Of course he was a Nazir. The answer is Hasa Malachu de Kama. The Malach said he should be a Nazir, but Shimshon never made himself a Nazir, so it's not called the Davar Nodor. That's how I took it before. And the last Gemara talks about who says that he became Tamil Mason. Rav Shimon said, Rav Yehuda said that a Nazir Shimshon is allowed to become Tamil Mason because Shimshon was Tamil Mason. How do you know that? What do you say Shimshon was Tamil Mason? Do you see any place Shimshon was Tamil Mason? Lechatchila, right. Even with the Eved, how do you see? Do you ever see he was Tamil Mason?
You want to say that it's mutter.
Why?
You want to say that.
I want to say it's mutter, but okay, if it will be mutter Lechatchila or not, maybe, but we don't find that Shimshon was Tamil Mason. How do you know he became Tamil Mason? Over there it says there was an episode that he was by himself and there were many Pelishtim, and he found the jawbone of a dead donkey, and with that he was able to kill 1,000 people. So he became Tameh, he killed 1,000 people. So some learned that it means maybe, that question is what does it mean? What do these words mean? Maybe he didn't touch them. It said maybe he didn't touch them. So some of it means maybe he threw it at them.
Doreen.
Maybe he threw it at them. Arrow, no, but the Chor means that it says something about the Lachia Chamor. He used this jawbone. So maybe it means he threw the jawbone and he shot it as an arrow. And what?
The jawbone of the
How do you
Chamor is
kill
not
1,000
Tameh.
people with one jawbone?
That wasn't the point.
wasn't.
According to this chart, the point is that he didn't have contact. He threw it at them.
He didn't have contact with the
But
people.
dead. When they died, he
The
just threw it
jawbone,
at
I'm
them.
asking about the jawbone itself.
So far the Gemara doesn't talk about it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, not so far. According to this pshat, it doesn't say that. There is a pshat that Givui Gori Behu says on the side, the Aruch, it says a pshat that he hit them with it, but he didn't touch them afterwards. And that would be what the Yaakov was hinting at, that the jawbone is not a couple tumor. That's a simple shot. That the children was not makabel tuma, and he banged them on the head.
Bang
Banged everybody, but he didn't touch the dead people.
Yeah,
That also
that
could be a
makes
shot.
sense.
If this shot is saying that he threw it at them, that would sound like
Yeah, how you throw it, then you pick it
then
up.
expect him
and
to throw it again.
Yeah.
Maybe you give one shot and the whole thousand fell down. I don't know. But this shot will be simpler. That he hit them, he cut his head off with it, but he didn't touch them. So you don't know that he was tummy the mace. Means we're saying now Shimshon was tummy the mace. Where do you see the story of killing 1,000 men? Doesn't say that he touched them. Another shot, another possibility. This is talking about after he came to the Plishtim and he was befriending them, so to speak, on the outside, and he made a bet, and his wife, the earlier wife, that she, I think it was an earlier wife, and it wasn't Belila, and over there, they made a bet, and they got his wife to say the secret about the lion carcass with the honey. That was a riddle he made, and they got the wife to tell the answer to the riddle, and he was chayiv to them 30 suits of clothing. So he went to kill 30 plishtim. So it says he struck 30 men, and he took their shirt. They took their. So you see that he killed them. And there, Vayach maybe sounds. And there he had to take the clothing off. So it means he touched them. But maybe first he took off their clothing, then he killed them. The Gemara says no. It says he struck them and then he took. So you see that he touched the dead. No, also not. But Dilma Gosses in Shavinu. Maybe he just made him a Gosses, and before they died, he took off the clothing. Vayach, but they didn't die yet, and then Vayikach, then they died. So you don't have a raya that he touched the dead. Ella, Gemara, Gemirila. We just have a Masorah that he killed. We don't see in the Psukim. The Psukim, you can't prove that Shimshon killed anybody. Touched him, became Tamei to mace. But we had such a Masorah that it was so. That Shimshon did not have to keep the halachas of Tumah. Very interesting. In the pasuk it says in Shoftim where it talks about Shimshon, so it says that the Malach said he should not eat any tamei. Lo sachli kol tamei. He should not eat tamei. She should not eat tamei. The mother got a prophecy that she should not eat tamei. What does that mean? So the Radakshas Pashut Pshat is that she should not become tamei l'meis, and not even. And the mother was even careful not to have any kind of tumah even before he was born, and eating. So he says the Pashut Pshat in the pasuk would have been there was not allowed to be tamei l'meis. But Gemara is going to say that it means anything which is asa, which means grapes. Don't eat grapes. And even though it uses the word tamei, it doesn't have anything to do with tamei. So the Gemara says that in Nazir Shimshon, that Shimshon himself was allowed to become tamei l'meis. And if someone says he's a Nazir like Shimshon, according to Abuda, our Mishnah seems to be halacha that he will be mutter l'tamei l'meis. Not only patur from a korban, even mutter l'tamei l'meis.
Even though his mother was careful not to become tamei.
No, that's the question over there. What does it mean tamei? If it means tamei meis,
well, maybe she also only.
It wouldn't. If he would be mutter, then it wouldn't be usher on her either.
Oh.
So the Gemara is going to learn that lo sachli kol tamei means grapes. Tamei doesn't mean tamei; it means things that are usher for you. Yashikor, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
7 o'clock.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Much Shabbos 7 o'clock. Thank you.
It's 7 o'clock, you said?
Is there